nevertheless. It's not going to be too bad. I mean, it's still a fairly up-to-date system. But, like I said, drafting, and not going on into mundane details. So we have the Templar Assassin, the Jakiro, and the Sven getting picked up by Equipo. That's going to be on the dire lineup here, with Rubik and Bounty Hunter picked up the Radiant. We saw Bounty Hunter being rather effective, utilized to get a lot of track gold in the last game. He plays very effective off lane. Even if you go up against sentries, he still has a decent amount of mobility to move around and try to position himself where he can't get picked off, and just get enough experience to survive in that suicide solo long lane situation. At 1v3, 1v2, whatever, what have you. Moving on forward, though, we have really strong lanes coming out of Equipo. Templar Assassin, Jakiro, and Sven getting picked up. Sven going to be playing their #1 role, going to be carrying up, being supported by the Jakiro, presumably on the top lane, with Templar Assassin going into the middle. So that's what we're going to be looking at there. TA in a mid situation is generally one of the strongest solo mid heroes, even to this date. Batrider is one of the better 1v1 heroes, but he got banned out in the first place, so not having to worry about him. It's a really good first pick. Really helps establish their lanes, control their runes, and add in a lot of extra damage. One thing, Sven has a lot of potential with God's Strength, increasing his damage based on his strength and base damage in general. And from there, what he's looking at is, dishing out a lot of physical damage. Who better to improve that than Templar Assassin, who has the meld, reducing their armor when she activates that on them for a decent period of time, along with that usually picking up a Desolator. So it's almost a supportive semi-carry right there, in the way that she just completely buffs up Sven. Even with his steroid, she just increases it even further. So much damage, physical amplification, and from there just burning through their opposition. So hopefully Sven will get the opportunity to farm up under the reign of Jakiro, as he is supporting on the twin-headed dragon. So we'll see how that gets picked up there. I believe Zephyr, I'm actually trying to remember who played what. I know Cotton played the Venomancer, but it was either Zephyr or Sly that played the Jakiro, and we'll have to see. But we're looking at another Enigma pickup. The last round, which was Equipo versus Smiley Face, we had Rubik and Enigma on the same team. The reason that it's really, really beneficial is the reason that this is really beneficial is Enigma and Rubik. One thing is that Enigma is hard countered by Rubik. It's a 4-second channel, so it's really easy to steal and throw back in their face. But if you already have Rubik on your team, there's no way that they can pick that up. So, and yeah, with the Black Hole, I keep on getting interrupted by random messages, and keeping my focus here. The Black Hole is a very, very powerful disable. It's really good in team fights, and just in general really effective if you can get it off for the long duration. But Jakiro has the long range Ice Path. Sven has that Stormhammer stun. So until Enigma picks up that BKB, along with possibly a Blink Dagger to improve the initiation potential, it's hard to lock the entire enemy team down. You really have to focus on getting as many people grouped up. Anyways, yeah, moving on into the draft, we're seeing Rubik probably going to be playing in a solo mid role. He can play supportively, but just in this specific scenario, I think he'll be okay against the Templar Assassin. Templar Assassin gets a nice buff from her refraction charges in terms of auto attack damage, but the Fade Bolt can keep that in check a decent amount. The one issue that Rubik has is he doesn't have multiple instances of damage that can burn down the TA, so he will be able to possibly survive against the TA, but he won't be able to bring her down by himself. He's definitely going to need some damage over time assistance, and I'm thinking there may be a Leshrac pickup that might assist in that. I mean, Venomancer was prevalent in the last team fight, so we'll have to see how that works out for them. But all the same, let me check my chat, make sure that I'm not missing anything. Don't want to keep your questions in check, so if you guys have any question about their drafting or their style or really anything, even about me, and hopefully not my personal life, but just I want to obviously have a little bit more viewer interaction and keep you guys. I know a lot of people aren't used to talking to main streamers when they have like 20,000 viewers, but hey, if I'm only sitting at 6, I might as well take advantage of the fact that I can directly interact with you guys. Won't really help the VOD viewers, but all the same, it's really just, I love to talk to people and interact in that fashion, so we'll see from there. I'm mostly talking and just jabbering on because, again, this is the longer stage of the game, of the drafting phase, which is the bans. There are 3 bans, which are kind of counter-synergetic. They're trying to make sure that the opposition doesn't get a really, really solid lineup. They're also worried about some hard counters and things along those lines, so we're already seeing some interesting bans coming out. Equipo banning out the Naga Siren and the Brewmaster. I'm not exactly sure what is the design intended there, other than the fact that that Radiant team lineup is looking for some teamfight ultimate type heroes that can still kind of add to that carry or semi-carry potential, and that definitely would fall under the category of Brewmaster, Naga Siren, and possibly one more, so we'll have to see. But on the other hand, it looks like Radiant wants to pan out a lot of push mechanisms. They're worried about the counter push, the side lane push. Jakiro already adds a lot to that with the Liquid Fire. God's Strength can be popped to add more into the damage on that in that regard, and so they don't want to have to worry about not only one lane pushed out with Liquid and God's Strength, but also have a completely different lane on the opposite side of the map taking way too much damage. So you're looking at Broodmother, Venomancer, Leshrac, all three of those heroes getting banned out, so you don't have to worry about that Plague Ward's Edict and the Spiderlings. Haven't seen Broodmother recently. She really didn't get nerfed too hard in 6.75, but it just seems to be out of the flow of the meta. It used to be push, 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 knocking down the doors on every single tower all across the board, but now it's a lot more oriented towards ganks, so you see more Night Stalkers and more AoE stuns and things like that. I'd love to see Alina picked up since the Leshrac is out of the picture, but nevertheless, you can go with really whatever they want. I've seen Jakiro lane really well with Undying, but he's been banned out, so you could be, I don't know, they want to get a powerful support to lane up top. Maybe a jungler. Haven't seen Enchanter or Enchantress recently. Would love to see some activity from that, some pro micro skills coming out, but again, you have to keep in mind the fact that they still need to worry about a BKB Enigma. If they get to that stage in the game, it's going to be really hard to burn it out unless they have an ultimate that will prevent it. I mean, there's so many different examples, so there we go. Vengeful Spirit, perfect pickup there. It will lane pretty well with Jakiro and Sven if they want to do a tri-lane setup, and there's a Windrunner for the Suicide lane. Love these pickups from Equipo. So, not sure who's going to be playing what. I'll learn that as I go along, but one thing I'm going to mention right here is that you have a beautiful laning situation. I mean, they are going to win these lanes, I do believe, unless there's some major awesome plays drawn out by the Rubik and the Quap, and possibly the Enigma as well. Really what you're looking at here, Windrunner is going to go for the solo bottom, unless they go for an aggressive tri-line, in which case they'll flip-flop. But Windrunner is going to go for the solo bottom, the Templar Assassin is going to go for the solo mid, and they're going to have Sven, Jakiro, Vengeful Spirit on top. The reason why I really love the Vengeful Spirit pickup is not only does she add more damage amplification that perfectly synergizes with what they have already going on. Sven, again, lots of physical damage, gets Cleave, gets God's Strength. Templar Assassin, Meld, reduces armor. Vengeful Spirit now has that Wave of Terror, I believe it is. I mean, it used to be a Howl, now it's a Wave, and apparently there's a pop-up involved. But anyways, is that... Actually, never clicked on that. I think it's supposed to give the YouTube clip of what that spell being cast, which is a really cool implementation by Valve if I had my Flash player up to date, but not a big deal. Moving forward, what you're looking at here, we do have, like I said, the Wave of Terror synergizing with the Meld negative armor, the Sven physical damage. So they have really, really, really good potential to do so much physical damage in a very short burst of time, and that's really important. Sven will definitely be the hard carry here, trying to get up as much strength and attack speed as possible, and possibly some initiation mechanisms if they don't feel they can get up to the group. But along with the negative armor synergization, they're also going to be looking at a counter to Enigma. The swap, Nether swap coming out of the Vengeful Spirit, is a physical swap, and what that means is that even with BKB, unless he has a Linked Sphere, the Enigma can still be swapped out of his ultimate, as long as the Vengeful Spirit is obviously not disabled and is in range. So they're going to be looking for trying to get Vengeful Spirit up to level 11, so she can get that rank 2 swap and therefore almost entirely counteract the Enigma and pretty much minimize the major threat that is that black hole. In the meantime, Enigma's going to be looking for a fast soul ring, already 3 clarities up in the jungle. Not very supportive in the fact that he didn't pick up any courier wards, but it's still going to be effective one way or another. But we're definitely going to have to see a supportive Rubik. Only has 1 tango, 4 branches. He's going to have a rough time in the lane, but once they get rolling, it shouldn't be the biggest deal in the world. Now, I didn't get a chance really to talk about their last 2 picks for the Radiant. They have the Queen of Pain, and they have the Faceless Void. The benefits that you're seeing from those specifically is going to be the Faceless Void, who has a really interesting set of gear, the, I forgot what the set's called, but Clazurame, I don't know how to pronounce it, whatever. Jan on the Faceless Void, he's going to be very hard carry. He's pretty much the anti-carry, in fact. Like, he can just pop his Chronosphere up and just try to bring down whoever he wants in it without having to worry about anything here. Now, it's going to be actually a dual lane on bottom. It's going to be, I'm going to look at these names once more real quick, just to make sure that I'm not getting anything wrong right here. It's Salivary on the Windrunner, and he's going to be presumably still on bottom with a roaming Vengeful Spirit played by Franks. Then we have in the mid, Abab on the Templar Assassin, going for a fast bottle pretty quickly. I mean, he went for a salve just to make sure that he didn't have a rough time of it. Queen of Pain, not aggroing the creeps, using just a Shadow Strike and walking past the wave to get that off. But in the meantime, it's going to be an interesting 2 versus 1 situation here, with Kieran trying to provide as much free farm for Jan on the Faceless Void. We'll see from there. The big deal is Enigma. Once he gets to about level 4, he can contribute a little bit more with ganks in the Malefice Stun regard and kind of move on from there. But on the top lane, we do see Picture Me Broken. kind of getting zoned out a little bit by Jakiro, Cotton, roaming around and putting damage pressure out. Yeah, he's already having to pop off his first Shadow Walk, 50 mana, doesn't have the best regen, only 0.8 right now, and now they have popped off their first Sentry Ward. Frank's roaming back up top to help out in this tri-lane setup, and that's going to allow them to get the first blood, most likely, if Bounty Hunter doesn't recognize that there is a Sentry right underneath his toes. So they're going to be looking for a triple stun combination here with Vengeful Spirit rotating in. She might want to stack first, who knows, but Queen of Pain getting really nice and cozy up in the middle lane up against Abab. As far as last hits go, you can see it on the screen, 7 for Sven, 8 jungle creeps for the Enigma, and as far as middle lane goes, Templar Assassin not doing so hot. He really wants that bottle, but he needs to get more last hits in order to get it. Now that's the third, he just needs one more, I believe, based on the time frame, but he won't get enough for that 2-minute bottle. 2-minute bottle, since he bought the salve, it is delayed a little bit, and he's not going to get the first rune and bottle that up. It really could help him out, but all the same, as long as he's on par with the Queen of Pain, he'll be doing alright. It's really, Abab doesn't have the opportunity to control the runes until level 6 anyways, based on the fact that the Queen of Pain has Blink this early, whereas the traps aren't available until a little bit later, when he picks up his ultimate, obviously. So it's going to be the rune control is going to be in favor of the Queen of Pain. It's okay if he doesn't get his bottle as quickly. He might even have to bottle Crow it. We'll see if the supports can be on the ball with the Flying Courier and such. But one way or another, we do have good interaction on all the lanes, pretty much what you would expect. The Sven practically free farming, the Faceless Void not doing too bad himself. Actually up to 10 denies. That's pretty good in the regard that if you look at Windrunner's experience, she's down, Salivary is down to 102 experience per minute, not doing too hot. The only one which is in a worst case is Frank's on the Vengeful Spirit, and that's because he's just getting denied over and over and over again. He has been harassed back. The action from Rubik, stacking up the camps and pulling them as best they can. And actually they killed the courier. Holy crap, that's a big deal. And now first blood. Wow, I'm missing a lot. I'm not really missing it, it's just there's so much action all over the place. I want to be able to keep on top of it. Sorry, it's talking a little bit too much. Let me get a drink of water and start off with figuring out where that courier was at. I believe it was in mid lane when they were flanking, trying to deliver the bottle to Templar Assassin. She did get the bottle. No, I don't know. We're just going to move forward. I don't think there's any mechanism for finding where the courier died, but it, yeah, definitely is deceased for the time being. Anyways, there was, you know, the first blood coming out from the Queen of Pain. Nice gank coming in, but no, it was a solo kill. There was a little bit of a flanking trying to help out, but it really didn't make a bit of a difference. It was Abab getting caught out. I didn't really catch it. Sorry about that. In before caster misses first blood, whatever. Happens, but we'll never going to settle for that if possible. Now up on top, yeah, the picture me broken, just trying to get whatever experience he can, maybe just creep jack a little bit, but this is a really nice pull coming in from the supports from Equipo. You looking at the transition here, they did a double pull, and this pull was stacked in the first place, so that's just so many creeps that are getting denied. That's a lot of experience that isn't going to be in the hands of the Bounty Hunter. He's actually just walking on out, possibly looking for a gank on the Templar Assassin because he knows he can't get experience in the lane that he's currently in with all these creep pulls going on. In the meantime, nice aggression going on to Salivary, but Kieran has already popped off both of his cooldowns, so they're not going to be able to bring him any lower. However, with this Ring of Health, looking for a battlefield in this Faceless Void, he's getting decent GPM. Sitting right now, 263, not too bad. I mean, there's 3 above him, but one of them has first blood, so that's completely understandable. Speaking of which, Usher just has complete control over the middle lane right now, which is kind of surprising. Bounty Hunter coming in. Abab wanted to go aggressive, now Picture Me Broken, trying to even the score. The cooldowns aren't there for Templar Assassin, and now Picture Me Broken just barely walks away in time. Bottle coming up, though, so neither will go down, but a lot of damage pressure in either case. Ush gets the rune, though. That's really big. 4-minute rune. He was holding on to it, banking on the fact that it would stay there, and he was able to pick up an illusion, which gives him plenty of mana right back. And if he could just get the ulti off, once the refraction's down, he can bring down the TA, which is really essential there. Bounty Hunter still camping the lane, has that rank 2 Shadow Walk to stay in biz for a longer duration of time. Now that refraction is no longer there, but he does have it off cooldown once he comes out of the meld. In the meantime, just going to stay in experience range and hold while he can. In the meantime, nice smoke gank coming in. Nick and Kieran looking to bring down this Windrunner, who is on such low life, only not even 200, and this back flank coming in from the Enigma. So even when she wind runs away, right here, actually they might just be able to bring her down before. I mean, it is a rank 1 wind run, so it's going to drop down, and the bash proc is there, and they're going to get the kill right off the bat. I'll hand it to Enigma. Why not? So he does some tower hits, he does waste his Malefice, but from there it is going to help him get his Blink Dagger really quickly if that is the item of choice, otherwise going for the mechanism. In the meantime, though, Sven has farmed up quite a bit, top in the CS, 35, doing pretty well. So definitely Zephyr getting the farm that he needs and going from there. Frank's working on through. He does have the boots to roam, only 450 gold now, which is quite effective to stay mobile and stay in the action. Also looking for like a Tranquil Boots Soul Ring thing to just go full blown out roam. He walked over the sentry where they can stun him out right here. Looking for the magic missile to start things off, following up with the ice path, but he's going to be able to get out of range. There's no way to follow up. The Sven was not there with the Storm Hammer, not going to get the opportunity he was looking for. But all the same, it is keeping Bounty Hunter on his toes. He is falling back every single time he comes forward. He knows the sentries are there, and he's just going to do the same thing he did before, roam onto the middle lane, because he doesn't really have any other choice. He takes a lot of damage all across the board. Now looking for the middle, and there goes the Observer Ward, kind of tracking his actions, as I don't know, he was Shadow Walked at the time, so only now coming off cooldown. Looking for Abab. He does not have the track available, but she only has mana cost for, I was going to say one of her abilities, but she's about to get enough for two. Pops off the trap though, so now she only has one ability available up her sleeve, and with that they could possibly bring her down if they have the burst. Ush only on half mana though, so it is less likely. He does have a double damage rune, that helps out. Really just drawing lines here. No, here comes the aggression here. Abab, they're trying to put pressure out on him. The meld goes on out. Here comes one scream, looking for a second one. DD, here comes the refraction. They just need to burn through the charges. However, it is rank 4. There's 5 more stacks to go. Abab going counter-aggressive. Maybe a mistake if he takes a couple more damage. Shadow Strike burning through. Only one charge of refraction left. Pops the meld. Here comes Salivary. They dodge this power shot really nicely. Ush doing a lot of double damage. He's going to pop Wound Run just to dodge that one last auto and get out of there quickly. But now he's still in the... Oh, nice Shackle. He may still survive. The blink comes on through. Last auto attack will finish the job, and that's going to be the 4th kill on the board for the Radiant. Just dominating in this phase. I thought that the lanes were really well set up, but unfortunately the only one that's secure right now is the top. TA having a hard time with all these ganks coming in from the Bounty Hunter, and all the same, the Tier 1 has fallen on the bottom lane. Just enough pressure coming out from the Enigma with the Eidolons, as well as the Rubik. He hasn't stolen anything yet, as he is only level 5, but all the same, the Winner can only do so much. She's been forced off a couple times over. Looking at her death count, you're actually seeing she's died 3 of the 4 times. So yeah, that's where the damage is coming. And unfortunately for them, yeah, the Void has participated in 2 of those 3 deaths. Anyways, Abab going aggressive on Ush, now gets telekinesis up, won't really be able to pursue, but in no real danger with the telekinesis. On the other hand, the God Strength has been popped. Look at that, about, wow, I can't do math apparently, but 168 damage onto the tower with each auto attack, obviously mitigated quite a bit by the armor, but still bring it down, 265. And if they can put a little bit more pressure out, that will give a lot more gold across the board for their entire team, which is what they need right now. Vengeful Spirit needs to get some tankable items so that she can survive in team fights. If she does so, then she will be able to get to that level 11 I was talking about before, and therefore be able to counteract Enigma in his endeavors. So, right off the bat, Enigma is picking up the mechanism. Not really going to be relying too much on his Black Hole ultimate with the Vengeful Spirit on the board, as pretty much all Vengeful Spirit will do is stay away from her teammates and make sure she can interrupt that Black Hole. Probably should have filled back up on water, but Abab taking a lot of damage. Refraction already down, no mana available. They might be able to bring him down. The wand gets popped up, just melding up to try to survive. Here comes an Ice Path, hits absolutely no one as they do juke it pretty effectively. Man, Radiant just really good at dodging those line nukes, line stuns, and Ush getting the blink and the scream. Rank 4 bringing down the Jakiro. In the meantime, Abab gets telekinesis back. He wants to go aggressive, wants to finish the job. That Mel doing so much damage and burning him down. It's going to be him that gets the kill. Now Abab tanks up the Queen Pain's scream with the last charge of refraction, but it gets burned down. Double kill for Ush. Beautiful sonic wave as he puts it on his escaping back end. So that's very, very painful. And Zephyr just trying to do whatever he can on the top lane to make it worth it. Right now, he is farming the best as far as creep kills go, but if we look over at GPM, it's still Queen of Pain that's on the top because she's been not even ganking necessarily, but getting kills where they're just walking up to her and trying to bring her down, but in return, she's still able to actually net a number of frags for herself. So her net worth is just below the Sven's. I'm guessing that's based on the fact that, I honestly don't know, other than there might be something on the courier. Net worth is still a little buggy in my mind, but as far as GPM goes, you're definitely looking at the Sven on top for the time being, so we'll have to see. Jan doing pretty well himself. We'll have that Battle Fury in just 130 gold, and that'll be really, really good for him. It'll increase his farm, I wouldn't say exponentially, but amplify it quite a bit. He'll be able to farm up stacked neutrals very effectively, as well as flash farm the creep wave, and from there just be able to burn down through. Abab has picked up an invisibility rune and will try to focus down Jan. He does have 2 points in backtrack, so he has a decent chance to avoid a heck of a lot of damage, 15%, but it's all about the luck, all about the RNG in that case, and they know he's roaming about. He knows that they had the Radiant Ward on the Invis rune. They know that he was somewhere in the action. Templar Assassin really wants to go on this, but I don't know if he can. I mean, the Eidolons can burn down that refraction so quickly, and he has no support anytime soon. Frank's all the way up here, so he will stalk for the time being, but that invisibility will run out. He's just going to walk off. He knows that Void is nowhere near, or at least he thinks he isn't, so he wants to go on Nick, but these Eidolons will be up for another seconds. There's Frank's going aggressive. Nick gets focused down pretty hard, but pops the mech immediately. Nice armor bonus. Instead, it's going to be Vengeful Spirit that takes the fall. Ush just blinking on away. Nice Ice Spike coming on through. Beautiful Chronosphere. Solivary on the outside of it. Abab caught, though, and now comes a black hole. Catching into Con and Abab. They're going to burn down so fast. Beautiful Scream. Double kill for Ush. Single kill for the Bounty Hunter, which probably gives track gold. It didn't monitor the track, but I'm sure it was involved. And with that, now they're trying to bring down Salivary. Just a couple more auto attacks. The Shadow Strike burning through should finish the job. It does indeed. And now 3 kills for Ush on a monster kill streak. Really good play from her. Just all over the place. And that's a 12-to-1 advantage for the Radiant here. And this entire time, actually, Sven, no, the Bounty Hunter kill was on Sven. Oh my gosh, that was a 1 versus 1. He got caught out. Going for the Mask of Madness, which I can't say that I agree with. It's, Sven really benefits from attack speed. Don't get me wrong there. He also, since being a strength hero, loves the lifesteal. Unfortunately for him, he also takes 30% amplified damage, so he can get burned down just as fast. So until he gets that BKB, it puts him in a very vulnerable state. And even after the fact, you know, you get Chronosphered. With the Mask of Madness up, it's going to be very, very painful for you. So, again, if he can get in the right circumstance where Meld and Wave of Terror is on a hero, it's going to be the best DPS increase for him. But yeah, like I said, he can drop down just as effectively, and he has to be very careful with it. And right now, they need some big damage. They need some big kills because Ush has such a huge advantage right now. Magic Missile going on to Enigma. Now they're looking for a nice shackle, but Fade Bolt going on through. Ush wants to go aggressive. Here comes the Bounty Hunter. Nice little chop there. But now, oh my gosh, everybody's on such little life with that Scream over and over. This Queen of Pain is in the action. Fade Bolt bringing down the Vengeful Spirit. They're all on the run. The track movement speed and the Malefice will be enough. Godlike spree for Ush. Now wants to pursue onto Salisbury, and he may be able to do it if he can find him in the trees. Beautiful Scream. Beautiful play by Queen of Pain, and that is just a strong showing of his skill set in general. He knew exactly where he could be. As long as he was following his path, whether he went in this path or this one, they all meet up here, and that's where the Scream went on down. So now the ultimate is back up, and only 600 gold will be the Aghanim Scepter. It's going to be very difficult for Dire to come back from this. They still have the team that can do it, but right now Jakiro is so starved for experience. Look at the Radiant hero level, I mean the Dire hero level in general. The Sven is level 10, he's been pretty much free farming, but the Jakiro and Vengeful Spirit are level 4 and 5, and they're in such a bad spot because of it. So painful indeed. I gotta feel bad for them. I've been in that position of the feeder support, and it's not intentional, obviously, but it's just you get caught out with such powerful nukes, and Queen of Pain is just one of those heroes who can snowball, steamroll, and just move with that momentum. And it's about to get even worse for them as this Aghanim Scepter will not only increase the damage of the Sonic Wave, but also reduce the cooldown substantially. So we'll have to see how that works out for them. Going down to 70 seconds if she picks it up now, and then 40 seconds when she hits level 16 with that Ring 3 ultimate, which, yeah, I don't need to tell you guys, is very short for such a powerful ulti. And moving on forward, one thing I'll note is that it hasn't been, with all these kills on the board, the Radiant hasn't really capitalized too much in the tower regard. Kind of going into that dissertation, didn't really catch the fact that Sven got caught out by the Malefice stun and all that. Actually, Chronosphere being popped just to make sure, and now bringing down an easy kill on the Vengeful Spirit, just so squishy with track on her. And now Nick wants to go and Salisbury as well. When runs on cooldown, the Malefice goes on through, but she's going to be safe under the tier 3, and they're just going to take the tier 2 in its wake. Like I was saying, they haven't really done too much as far as pushing goes. They have a 17 kill advantage, and they've just now taken a tower. The tier 1 tower fell really early. Tier 1 mid on the bottom, sorry, and then in the middle, not too long ago. But that's 3 towers for 17 kill. But they kind of made up for that with the split push they just did there, taking down the tier 2 on bottom, taking the tier 1 on top, and that's what they needed to maintain that momentum. Oh, Jakiro, poor Jakiro. Sayonara Cotton. He's going to get knocked down here. Doesn't miss up the hill, not so fortunate, and wouldn't have made a difference in the end. Now, though, they might be able to try to do some counter initiation. Looks like Abab is coming up. The stun goes going through. They're trying to bring her down, but she's just going to blink away. So mobile. and the Aghanim Scepter is up. Such damage about to come out. If they can just lock down on 3, they want the refraction off the Templar Assassin if they're going to commit to it. But Ush is actually in a really awkward spot right now. Obviously, this is not his base over here. He is the Radiant, and he is just running for his life. The track is down, but the Chronosphere is just about up from the Faceless Void, only in 30 seconds, so they just need to hold out a little bit longer. Picture Me Broken out of there. No detection from Zephyr instead. Just going to get 3v1'd and drop down. Very, very painful. And yeah, like I said, he can do a lot of damage with the setup from his allies, but right now he has been mostly picked off on his own, up on top, down on bottom, and now near the middle lane. He died 3 times, yeah, all 3 deaths. As far as I could tell, he didn't really have the support of his allies. He was mostly out on his own, and that's very unfortunate for him indeed. Now Nick picked up that Blink Dagger. If he can catch Vengeful Spirit in it, or if she's dead or disabled, then he won't really have to worry about it. He just has to catch people in, and now the Chronosphere to start things off. Burns down the Vengeful Spirit. Now looking for the Templar Assassin. Beautiful Shackle coming out of Salisbury. Single Black Hole. Nick just wants to pull in and gets the Black Hole. Now Windrun actually gets popped off. He may survive this actually in the end. Yeah, he will indeed, but on the back end, Abab getting picked off underneath the feet of his own Tier 2 tower, and now there are only 2 alive, 1 in critical life. It should be easy pickings to bring down this tower. And right now, the full map control is in the hands of Radiant. I don't know what Dire can do to come back from this. Jakiro needs to get some experience to actually get his abilities worthwhile. I mean, all of them are really powerful mechanics, but only when they're skilled up. And right now, sitting on level 4, he's far from it. Indeed, Zephyr getting stunned up quite a bit. Malphite stun, all that nonsense, and Fadebolt will finish the job. So painful indeed. The BKB, if he had it, would be so beneficial right now, but indeed he does not. Looking at his GPM, he's sitting at only 347, which, it's okay, but comparing that to the 350 to 561 of all the Radiant team members except for Rubik, that's going to be a good game called, and yeah, well deserved. I mean, 25 to 1. Yeah, you can just check the goal graph. Didn't even bother since it was very, very clear, telling the story of this momentum shift. It's all been in favor of them all game long. Really nice play, and I gotta say, give it up to the Queen of Pain, who knocked out a KDA of 12-0 and 6, was not able to be locked down no matter how many times they tried to bring her, and in the end, it's gonna be all in favor of them, just showing that power, and so many stats involved too. I'm talking about a lot about the damage of the Aghanim Scepter, but it still gives plenty of strength and plenty of other factors there too, so really effective, and was able to win this game. Queen of Pain MVP, but all of them did a very, very good job of locking down Equipo and making sure they couldn't take it to the end game with that Sven. So nice action there, and that's going to be a victory for Team Love. So thanks for tuning in, guys. This has been a Blaze Casting